So how come
Okay, it's recording now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the question I have is reference to what we learned yesterday about moving into a community and being taking upon yourself the custom Minhagim of the area. So when Chabad sends shluchim out to areas that might have had larger communities before, they've lapsed, and now they're getting a shliach in their community. Should then the shliach actually conform to what used to be the Minhagim of that area?
That's gone.
Or
What?
is
It's
the
gone.
It's gone.
Even in places that used to have an actual Masorah and established
I would say
custom?
whenever there is no shul with a mechitza left, that's it. That's
Okay.
it.
No, I know a few Orthodox shuls that stayed Orthodox, and then the rabbi left, and then they just put an Orthodox Chabad rabbi, and the Chabad rabbi not treats it as a Chabad center.
So therefore what?
So he doesn't have to do anything to maintain the original Minhagim. They can just make
If
it
the
a Chabad.
original shul no longer
No, it
exists,
still exists.
then he doesn't maintain the minhagim.
So he has to
Oh,
adapt
he's
himself to
Chabad.
the
What?
existing community.
I know they don't. Chabad has because Chabad there is this concept which Chabad and holds of, which is that they are the 13th gate. Right, there are 12 gates, one for each of the Shvatim in Shamayim, and each Shev is supposed to go through their own gate. But there's a 13th gate which was brought down by the Arizal and was taken over by Chabad, and everybody can go through that gate, right? And through, therefore, they hold that
they have a
Chabad will
monopoly on
conquer
that?
the world.
They have a monopoly on that gate?
What? Yes, they have a monopoly on that gate. From their perspective, yes.
Does this gate actually exist?
No. You're asking me?
Yes.
I wasn't in Shamayim to know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that the gates are the same gates they once were. Because I don't think, Hungarian Judaism aligned with Shevet Reuven, and Iraqi Judaism with Shevet Shimon, and Moroccan Judaism with Shevet Levi, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So I think the gates are in flux. If we're,
Okay.
So
Do we have any, besides Levim and Kohanim, do we have any concept of a Shevet anymore?
No.
Do we have anything near that? These
No.
nationalities we have that are just very, very artificial forms of
Those
community.
Right. So those are they supplanted Shvatim, right?
Okay.
Okay? So, I want to skip a bit today. I want to go to the last page, which is from Shailas Teshuvah's Or L'Tzion. Looks like this. Doesn't have a number on it. So, Or L'Tzion is Rabbi Ben Zion Abba Shaul, who was one of the Rosh Yeshiva in Parat Yosef, who passed away a few years ago. And the page photocopy kind of backwards. So Yud Zayin is on the left and Yud Ches is on the right. It should be obviously Yud Zayin before Yud Ches. So I want to do a Naf Vav inside. Baalei Teshuvah, Minhag Minhag Abosei, Minhag Abosei. Baalei Teshuvah, should they follow their father's minhag or their Rebbe's minhag? Okay. So he says, let's give me the text. Al Bar Shelo So. Concerning this question, Asher B'Yameinu Baruch Hashem Achshu Dora. Today the generations are more kosher than they used to previously. Umisrabim.
When was it certain?
I think about 5 years ago, maybe. Umisrabim Miyom Liyom Baalei Teshuvah, and there are every day more and more Baalei Teshuvah. Hachazrim L'Torah Ki Mitzvahs come back to Torah and mitzvahs. Nisoro Hashe'ela. The question was brought up. B'mishu b'bnei Sfarad. He was of Sephardic descent. El shechazar b'teshuvah derech yeshiva sh'Hashem b'nei Ashkenaz. But he became about Teshuvah through an Ashkenaz yeshiva. Or vice versa. About Teshuvah b'nei Ashkenaz sh'chazar b'teshuvah derech yeshiva sh'Hashem b'nei Sfarad. Rishon Lamad, in this yeshiva, which is not of his origin, he learned to keep out mitzvahs and accept the mitzvahs, v'hilchos HaTorah, the laws of Torah. Hech tzarich linhog. How should he conduct himself? The Makom sheish chilukei dinim, in places where there are differences of opinion, bein b'nei Sfarad and b'nei Ashkenaz, between Sfarad and Ashkenaz. Ha'im minhag k'minhag avosov, should he take on the minhag of his forefathers, or should tzarich linhog k'fi ma shemkabel mirabbanei ha'yeshiva shebol ha'mei? Does he have to go by the rabbanim of the yeshiva which he learns? V'hini yoshei be'etzos Hashem yisparach. Here in Or Sameach, every year, I don't remember this past year he did, but every year Rabbi Shor on Erev Yom Kippur gets up and gives the bracha to all the Talmidim or Sameach in lieu of their father. So maybe everybody should have to accept Rabbi Shor's Minhagim upon himself, right? Because he is the father figure. What?
Everybody's going to be a ger chlusid.
Yeah, everybody's going to be a chassid. So Hinei Yeshua Tzur Lomar. There are those who want to say that you have to follow your Rabbein. And Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkanus' city, on Shabbos they would cut down trees. Lasos come in to make coals. Lasos barzel to make metal with Shabbos in order to make a knife for bris milah. Because Rabbi Eliezer holds machshirei milah, even the preparations for bris milah, push off Shabbos. So therefore, you could actually cut down the trees for firewood, make charcoal to make extra hot fire, and then forge metal into a blade to do the bris milah. According to Rabbanan, by this time you were mechal Shabbos several times.
Would Eliezer just go to a store and buy this knife?
That wouldn't be exciting.
I know.
Now, obviously, if he can do that, he should do that. But there's no knives in the city, all plastic knives. So he needs to make a knife.
I'll make it.
Okay? Muchach, it seems evident, Rabbi Eliezer, even though Allah does not follow Rabbi Eliezer, that preparation for bris milah, she'efshar sosim erev Shabbos, which you could have done right before Shabbos, or doichim as Shabbos, push of Shabbos. Mikamakom, bimkamash Rabbi Eliezer, no hukim. Nevertheless, Rabbi Eliezer's town, they conducted themselves according to his opinion, became in Shahoyam Marad Asr, because he was the rabbi of the town. The people prove from here, person has to follow his Rebbe, even though Chachamim argue, and halacha is not like him. Now, there's several accounts on which this proof is shaky. This is not a great proof, and Rabbi Shaul rejects it. There's not necessarily a proof in this Gemara. It's possible that the custom they had to follow Rabbi Eliezer is because this was his initial ruling from many years ago before he even knew that people argued on it. So, and therefore, Ashel myself know that. Even though at the end it became known that his friends argued on him, Allah is not like him. Came to nevertheless to say, already have this custom. Yesh Bezeh, we're on the last page in the last column. Yesh Bezeh, about 6 lines down, 7 lines down. Yesh Mishum the Avi Kamar Avi, the Avi Kamar Avi. So in this, it's applicable to principle. Whoever one person does like this rabbi is okay. Person does like that rabbi is okay. Because somebody already conducted that according to one stage. So you can continue following even though the halacha is not like him. It's a fascinating thing. In other words, if you have a sage who you accept upon yourself, you can follow him even though the halacha is not like him. Now there's an example of this, which is a modern day example. Ramosha Feinstein has said that he had a Masorah from his father that noon is always at 11:56 a.m. Always. Even though it means the halves of the day are not necessarily equal, his Masorah was that Chatzos does not have to be the dividing point between equal halves of the day. So it's always 11:56 a.m. Nobody knows exactly what this far is. We can conjecture. But as long as Rav Moshe was alive, in MTJ, there's yeshiva, they followed that psak. And they daven mincha a half an hour after 11:56, no matter what the time of year. After Rav Moshe passed away, they no longer follow his psak. As far as I know. What?
What about his sons?
I think they don't, because I don't think they understand it. So, but as long as the father was alive, in deference to him, so they followed it.
Did he write about it at all?
He just writes that he had this Kabbalah from his father. So, the point is that that's an example of a case in which a Chacham, even though it would seem from everybody else's perspective is wrong, if he's your Chacham, you're allowed to follow him. And that's what Ramosha's the children and Talmidim evidently were doing during his lifetime. Okay?
What about Stone Rav?
Sorry?
What about like a Stone Rav? Like your rabbi?
A regular rabbi? Well, since there is no consumer protection on rabbis, so you should probably verify that your rabbi is a great rabbi before you actually rely on him to this extent. Now, again, how much you have to check him out, you have to give him bechina, but, you should make sure his reputation as a knowledgeable person. Okay? Let's go to the next paragraph. And this is also evident that you don't have to follow your Rebbe. So the Rambam there brought that halacha that one has to conduct himself according to his Rebbe. So therefore, he must not be learning in the Gemara that the place Rabbi Eliezer they were compelled to follow Rabbi Eliezer. And even if we say that this is the pshat in the Gemara, you come ein halacha Rabbi Eliezer b'zeh. Nevertheless, halacha would not be like Rabbi Eliezer in this respect. That he would say that you have to be annoyed like your father, no matter like your Rebbe, no matter what. And besides that, it seems more so that the explanation was, like we explained, that this is where it was prior to everybody else having come to an opinion. Rabbi Eliezer already had instated his opinion in his place. The Davish Kvar Nagu Bo, and something where there's already a custom Davar Gadol, that's a big deal. That the tradition, the Maaseh, and the way things were done, Amudim Gedolim Behorah, are great pillars of Psak. The Kemet Shnah, skipping the parentheses, the Kemet Shnah Gukain, since they conduct themselves that way, they can continue following their minhag. Now he writes in the parentheses at the end of this paragraph, Shuv Reisi, after this I saw, Mashkas Kedusha Ram B'chulim Mem Gimel Abayz, what the Ran writes, Shem Kolu Rabbi Eliezer Rishoyim Asos Kidvarav, in Rabbi Eliezer place they're allowed to do like his perspective, because Mishum Shenech Shvuk Tamidov, because they're considered like students. Ayin Sham, that Rabbi Abba Shol is somewhat bothered by that, because he just said you don't have to follow your Rebbe. And now it's saying that they could do what they did because they're supposed to follow their Rebbe. Nevertheless, says Rabbi Abishol, this is obvious. Even the Ran writes, they were allowed to do like their Rebbe said. But they're not required to do it. In other words, nobody could require them to follow their Rebbe and make the knives on Shabbos. All he writes is that the other rabbis did not protest, but not that they have to follow the Rebbe's custom. And also it seems, even say that the pshat in the Gemara is that a person has to conduct himself like his Rebbe. Seems that it's not a concern of ours, an hour matter. We could say, it's only when a person conducts himself mashu rabba poseku morelo, in that which is Rebbe paskins and directs him to do, based on what the Rebbe has determined himself to paskin and to determine. But if the Rebbe himself is only doing what he's doing because he's on autopilot from a previous minhag, so then that his forefathers accepted as a Ras Maranam Chaber, the psak of the Rabbi Yosef Karo, or the Asor Amor, and Moshe Isilis. Doesn't make any sense to say that the Talmud has to follow the forefathers of his Rebbe. His Rebbe maybe, but not his forefathers. So just because you were Makura by a Chabad Chosid doesn't mean you can't eat Kabrooks on Pesach. Just because he has that minhag, you have to take that minhag on. If he paskin this way for you, that it's also Tika Brooks, okay, then you would have to listen to it because it's a psak. But he doesn't have a psak like that.
But I thought even if you knew it was absolutely not true, then you didn't have to listen.
Sorry?
Didn't you once say that if it's absolutely not true, you know that's not true, then you don't have to...
There's such thing as a minhag toes. A mistaken minhag.
So is that one?
But somebody has to determine that, not a
Oh,
layperson.
that's what we have.
And aren't most Lubavitch,
Wait,
most Lubavitch
We have
rabbis not be
one.
qualified
Can I
to
finish the answer,
impose?
question?
Maybe. What about the case of the Brooks?
What?
What about the case of the Brooks?
No,
Gebrocks?
they're not posting most of them. They're just
Gebrocks is not. Gebrocks is a chumrah.
It's like,
So,
But it's
that means
a
they're
statement.
like,
so
what's it
in
called?
that
They
case,
don't know
if your
what's
rabbi
inside
said
now.
that you have to keep
Some do, but not
the
most.
Brooks, and you know that you don't have to because it's a chumrah, then don't you not have to?
It's proven.
correct.
Okay.
But Rabbi,
Yeah.
wouldn't most Lubavitch rabbis be unqualified to impose chumras on people because they're not really poskim? They're just rabbis. Like they learn Basar V'Challah, but that doesn't mean...
No, you're right, because they're just transmitting stuff which they heard along the way. It's not their own independent psak, absolutely. Okay? Ukmoshe Ein Lomar, just like can't say Shem Avidas Aviv Avidas Rabo Avidas Rabo Kodemes. Just like what it would say, we'll extend the principle which we know exists, which is that you have a lost object of your father you can restore. A lost object of your Rebbe you can restore. You restore the Rebbe's object first. That's true. But we don't extend it to say, Kach Kodemes Kach Avedas Aviv Avedas Avi Rabo. So to the case where his father lost something, and the father of his Rebbe lost something. Avedas Avi Rabo Kodemes. The lost item of his Rebbe's father goes first. Shreinu Koshel Avi Rabo. This has to do with his Rebbe's father. Kinuadin Linyan Minhagim Avi Rabo. That's also true about Minhagim of his Rebbe's father. Vareza Pashut. And it's obvious. Shalgavi Minhagim. In terms of customs, Gomashinim Noim, Mikama Makomos, such as those refrain in some places, Shalocho Orez Bepesach, not eat rice on Pesach, etc. Shano Bukah, they are accustomed to do this, Mikoach Abu Shabusein, Kibul Atzil and Hokach, because their forefathers accepted upon themselves. Vadish and Talmidim Tzichem Lin Hokach. The students certainly do not have to follow that. Okay. I mean, this whole time wasn't recording?
Is it the wrong one?
No, it's recording.
Oh.
So he says that, so say you're Sephardic background,
Beginning
or you're just a Jewish background, and then you go to a Ashkenazi yeshiva, you don't have to take on their
Okay.
Gebrux thing or anything like that.
Right, he says, not
or
kidding.
you don't even have to take on Kitnio because you don't really believe in it. Or you don't want to believe in it.
So he says, Badish ain't Talmidim Sichel Minho Kach. Students certainly don't have to conduct themselves this way either. Okay, now we're going back to page Ches. Yeah. It's true about all Lachashnogim Rabboseim, Mikach Minhagim that their Rebbes have from their forefathers. Shein Talmideim Tzrichim Linho Kamosam. Their Talmidim don't have to follow their Minhag. El Yesh Minho Kaminhag Rabboseim B'chol Inyan. They should follow their father's Minhag.
Give a really quick recapture of what happened outside.
So far, he said, the fact that we find that in Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkanus' place, they were allowed to be Mechal Shabbos for Bris Milah, doesn't mean that you must follow your Rebbe in matters of Psak. Especially, because they didn't have to do it, but especially if it's a minhag, which your Rebbe has, not because he passed in this way, but because he got it from his forefathers. So, in essence, if I made you follow your Rebbe in this respect, you'd be following not your Rebbe, but your Rebbe's father. And you certainly have no obligation to follow your Rebbe's father. Okay? Now, Rabbi Abba Shaul, though, he doesn't entertain the a la carte option.
He does or doesn't?
Does not. He says it's either Sfar or Ashkenaz. I don't know if that's because he didn't think of the a la carte option, or because he's assuming that these people still had some affinity, some connection to the original orthodoxy from which they came. He doesn't say.
Can I go back? What if your rabbi's father is a posek?
What?
What if your rabbi's father is a posek and he's doing it just because he posek, not just because it's family member?
You didn't ask him. You can go ask your own rabbi.
No, I'm saying your own rabbi, his father is a posek.
Yeah, but if his father paskin and he himself did not look into it, and he's just going by his father, so you don't have to go by his father as your posek. Go find another posek.
But remember, the whole Torah, the whole
One that
Shulchan
would be
Aruch
the
is
answer
the
you
same
want.
thing. We don't
Exactly.
like the whole Shulchan Aruch, the whole halacha comes about from somebody else questioning for us. No.
Yeah, so. But the Shulchan Aruch was universally accepted. It's the acceptance of the Shulchan Aruch. People don't argue on the Shulchan Aruch because it was universally accepted. How it got that status, who knows? But it did. Hashem helped it.
It's only starting because of somebody else's father.
But these are not minhagim. But anyway, the minhagim and Shulchan Aruch are not minhagim. They're halachas. Right? What's bothering you? Okay. There was a universal acceptance of Shulchan Aruch with the Ramah. So that's why we don't go back and say, well, let's reopen this issue. If the Shach and Taz or Magen Avraham kept the issue alive, so then that's another thing. But if the issue died 500 years ago, we don't reopen it today. Okay? Now he makes another point. V'od shero pamim, most of the time, yesh b'alei tshuva kama rabbanim. B'alei tshuva can have several rabbis. Here in the yeshiva, he can have a Ger Chassid to be his rabbi. He can have a Brisker to be his rabbi. He can have
There were some policies, by the way.
what?
There were some policies that have more than one rabbi.
So you can have a Slonim Chassid as a rabbi. You can have a quasi Hasidic rabbi as his rabbi. You can have a Chazanishnik as his rabbi. So they,
Quasi-Hasidic one.
Rabbi Braun, who wears a gartel down with Ashkenaz. So
Used to be Rabbi Menowitz.
what?
Used to be Rabbi Menowitz too, but he's gone now.
He also used to wear a gartel down with Ashkenaz.
No, he's Hasidic too. Hasidic too.
Wait a minute. So,
He's somewhat Hasidic. The brother
you
is.
didn't just say Rabbi Brown was Hasidic, did you?
I said quasi Hasidic.
Wait, is Rabbi Shul quasi Hasidic?
No, he's the real McCoy. He's real McCoy, but some reason he won't wear a spadek in Chutz La'aretz. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means.
Who is it?
Rabbi Shua.
Which means he's wearing the spike in Israel, but not here?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He does a lot of interesting things.
Why Chutz La'aretz?
I guess because now McCoy in mitzvahs in Chutz
Wait a
La'aretz.
minute. They didn't wear it in Eretz.
Huh?
They didn't wear it in Eretz, Israel.
What?
A spottik. It's a fur hat, like a strimal.
But not
But it's a little bit.
It's not
Right,
spike.
It's a little
right.
bit short,
They didn't wear those
smaller
in
and taller.
Israel and way back.
Is it because
No, but when Israel identifies more closely with the Ger Hasidim wear spadeks.
And he's not going to
But
one
still,
weekday.
it's not a minhag.
it sounds like it's respect to his in-laws?
No, I don't know. He's doing it because it's doing it.
He's doing
It's
he's like,
because of the Gareb.
he's like related to the Rebbe.
Yeah.
He's like distantly related to the Rebbe. through
He's
marriage.
mechutzen.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he's
I'm not sure what that means.
related by marriage to the Ger Rebbe. So therefore, when the Ger do as the Gerers do.
And so no Geras. Geras were
Gerers,
Geras?
Ger Hasidim.
Gerim? No.
No, Ger Hasidim. Hasidim of Gur.
Sure, those people.
Hasidei Gur.
They don't ever wear
What?
buttocks
They
outside
do.
of Israel?
Oh.
Yes,
So then why doesn't he?
I think because his father didn't wear one. So in his Chutz La'aretz, in respect of his father, he doesn't. And it's Yisrael, and his father even wore a tie. I don't think Rabbi Shul does. Rabbi Shul wear a tie?
every day.
So they, in honor of what? What do you know? 29. V'od, and so I'm sorry. So let's start paragraph again. So Jeropa, most of the time, Yesh Bali Tshuva Kama Rabbanim. They have several rabbis, and Mikol Chad Kibu Madlin. They accept a little bit from each one. The Lo Shach Bem Klal Din Rabbo. So therefore, none of them has the halacha of his rebbe. V'od Nireh Pashut. And besides that, it's obvious. Shekom Hashanei Amar. This is a real shtach at Yeshiva Rabbeim. You know what shtach is?
It's a Yiddish word.
Yeah. An insult. A barb. A taunt.
Why? What was done?
That's where it's coming up. Okay. The third line in the paragraph starts with Ocharova, first column. V'od shenir pasha koma shenemar zedavka b'mi shechazer b'tshuva derech rav muvhak. We won't talk about somebody who became about tshuva through a legitimate rav. Shehusmach laharav, who has smicha. Many times, your rabbeim, present company excluded, many times your rabbeim do not have real smicha. Right? I do. I said present company excluded. Yes. So
You're the Yoda.
Yori.
Higher. Is there?
Yadin is for Choshen Mishpat issues.
So that's like a real Rav, or that's like...
No, Yor is real Rav.
Yor is like the lowest level.
No, there's Rav Umanik.
But that's not really a smicha.
Yeah, but most
It's like
people,
ATM.
most people call themselves rabbi have a Rav Umanik.
Yeah, but that's not.
Well, what does that mean?
That means if you're you can be a rebbe in a day school, somebody can call you rabbi. That's true. No, the Rav Umanik puts it on a piece of paper. Okay. On the wall of the conservative rabbi, where I teach in his
Conservative rabbi.
his Nefesh Chaim Shir. So in his wall he has a smicha, which is I think from place, but it says that he can be a Rav B'Yisrael, a rabbi in Israel. So it means that's not real smicha.
And Lord knows if he goes to Israel, nobody cares.
Yeah, no, but, so, not that it's congregant to the kid, know anything about it, but that's so he's saying there has to be real smicha. Urei mashakosav b'ramah b'yordei sim rishman beisif lamed shebiyomim elu these days ikara bonus ain't no telling mishalim do a pupil. It's the primary concept of a rav. It's not somebody who taught him a lamdisha gemara, the chilukim, and different chakiras, shenogim b'hem bizman hazeh, as is the custom in our day and age. Rak misha lumdo psak halacha. Perhaps somebody who taught him the piskei, the halacha, va'iyun, and the analysis, v'amido emes v'yosher, and brought him to the concepts of truth and straightness.
But nobody ever goes...
Wait! V'hu davar she'eino matzui hayom. This is something which is not prevalent today. So today, when every Tom, Dick, and Harry is Rabbi Tom, Rabbi Dick, and Rabbi Harry, only they wouldn't go by Tom, Dick, and Harry. They go by, Chaim, Yosef, and David. But nevertheless, the point is that this is not considered to be a real Rebbe in terms of by any sense.
Basically any bacher coming out of Lakewood or of Meir or Hametz Chaim is not really a Rav unless he is like really in halachas.
Right.
So essentially saying like of all of the Gemara rabbis here, the only one that could really qualify during the to teach Gemara in the morning is like Rabbi Shabbos.
No, they all teach. What do you mean? They all can teach Gemara.
No, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rabbi Shabbos is the only one who could like sit there and
Paskin
on the spot about anything.
He has to be able to pass in a spot, or he wants to mission.
No, he has to have a koyach to Paskin. If he wrote a sefer in Arabic, that's okay.
You don't teach Gemara. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, no, just kidding. I thought it was a good line. So.
But doesn't every rabbi has to go through in order to get a smicha, wherever it is, the lowest one? He has to go to be able to pass in Shabbos.
There's no quality control. That's why they always say that on the back of smichas from MTJ, which even Ramesh was alive, they're giving her a smicha. So they would say in the back of the smicha from MTJ, which would say Yori Yora, would say, not for practical application. In case of real issue, call, and then they'd have Ramesh's... What?
That's not true. Yeah.
It's not true, but that was the type of smicha it was. Now, this is not a new thing. Rabbi Yitzchak Yochanan Spector was the great posek of the late 19th century in Lithuania. He would give smicha to kids and say to them, listen, you really can't learn how to be a Rav until you're on the job anyway. So this is just means that, it's like a learner's permit. So so the learner's permit is the smicha, and then you learn how to actually drive and run the job. Okay?
Is it rewarding being a Rav?
What?
Is it rewarding?
Is it rewarding? Yeah. For some people it is, some people it isn't.
Is it rewarding? Really? For people who...
I'm not a Rav anymore.
What?
I was a Rav once for 5 years in a very small shul.
Really, how did that go?
Lousy.
Why?
Because the shul was owned by somebody.
Did that you had no power?
Right.
But how did the congregants feel about you?
The congregants had no power. They liked me, also they liked me, but when the Baal Boss didn't like me,
Were you
it was so much
a Rav or a former Rav?
They didn't ask me shilas.
Oh, how shul is that?
Because it was a right wing shul.
So everybody knew halakha.
Everybody thought they knew halachas. There's a rabbi in Queens, in the youngest of Queens Valley, Rabbi Peretz Steinberg, the big time Chacham, he said to me, never ever take a job as the Rav of a shul of B'nai Torah. There's a yeshiva alumni, because they always think they know better than you do. So therefore, it's best to have a shul. Mildly ignorant. He didn't say this, but mildly ignorant. Balavachi. So.
It's all just see personally, like privately.
It's a good advice. It is very difficult. That's why the shuls in Muncie are tough to run. Because everybody thinks they know.
So what are the issues that came up with the Congress?
I don't remember. It's a long time. Let's go on. The Chenir should go about Teshuvah. So everything's a about Teshuvah. Shechazer b'Teshuvah who came with the Teshuvah Ayadei. Rabbanim are Rosh Yeshiva. She'ei Minhagim thinking Minhagim Osaf, whose Minhagim are not like his father's Minhagim. Even though he learned by them their parents of the Rabbeim's Minhagim, he should follow his own family Minhagim. And in a place that his father is not sure doesn't keep Torah mitzvahs, so here you have Rabbi Tzion Abba Shaul saying explicitly, not like we said yesterday, not that we agree with him, but that in a case where there are no fathers, you should go by because the fathers were not from, you should go by the grandfathers. Now, it could be that he's going, like Shlomo said yesterday, among Sfardim, where even the non-from Sfardim are, part of that chain of Mesorah. So by Ashkenazim, that's certainly not the case. Okay? He says because that our forefathers accepted on their children and their children's children to have this custom. Okay, all right. Anyway, let's skip it. He brings that out because I don't know what he writes there. Now, last paragraph. Now, this interesting thing is a point to know. Davening is different because davening, really, the ikr of davening is avodah shebelev. It's to serve God, right? So therefore, we're not as meticulous in preserving minhagim. So there he says, let's say you were taught in a modern Orthodox day school to daven everything with Havaras Faradit, even though you actually come from an Ashkenazic pronunciation background. So theoretically, you should change. But if it's difficult, he says, because it's difficult for him to change the version of davening to which he had become accustomed. If he wants lamshich b'nusach shisragelbo to continue in the nusach to which he became accustomed, rashai, he's permitted to do so. And also wants to go back to the other nusach. He's allowed to do it. He can go either way. Because every version has its own source. Nevertheless, we end, of course, with a Sfardo-centric psak. If he became accustomed to Sfarad, Tovio says it's best to remain with Sfarad, of course. Came to Korav Yoser, Nusach Rabbeinu HaRizal, because it's closer to the HaRizal. Yes, that's what Chabad says also. And but we, of course, from my perspective, being a Yekka, I would tell you that the Yekka Nusach is the most meticulously preserved.
The Rizal.
No, it's not a Rizal, but it's most meticulously preserved from ancient times.
But it's the most,
Boring.
What?
It's dying very quickly.
It's done very quickly?
No, it's going away.
Of course it's dying very quickly, yeah.
All things go by.
Yeah.
I think really Yakis left on them, like communities-wise.
4, 5?
Yeah,
There's like 2 in town.
What?
Yeah, you should sure.
Don't talk about really Yekka.
Communities.
Like
Jews. No, really, real German Jews.
Around time,
They're on time, they go to work.
Their kids go on time.
They listen to classical music, they learn Torah. Turn their Cheretz. Maybe 4. Whole world.
People or for communities?
4 people.
Those your uncles that you counting now.
My cousins. Yeah.
I thought they became Chabad.
That's the other side of the family. Okay. There's my cousin's cousin. What?
Your cousin's cousin?
Yeah.
You get separated by.
It's not my cousin. It's my cousin's cousin. And then there is one fellow in Lakewood, my boss's father.
A fellow in Lakewood.
And then I like to think of myself as being authentic Yekish, but I can't really vouch for myself.
You don't
So-
want to Kiddush.
What?
You don't wash before kiddush.
You're right. I don't have all the Minhagim yet.
I was so excited about going to your house for that, and I was like, oh.
But in any event, so there are three, maybe there are a couple in Eretz Yisrael I'm not familiar with, but there are less than a million in the whole world. Really, Yaakov left. Yeah. Okay. So it is very sad.
Can I ask one?
Yeah.
And people get smicha nowadays, or ever, than they did before. Was there ever a renewed time at all for them, or did you just keep it for the rest of their lives and they're dependent upon that?
They just keep the rest of their lives.
No one tested to see if they're still attained all the
No.
information they have?
There's no recertification.
That's what I'm asking. Why not?
It's like a driver's license. You get recertified for driving?
Yeah, every place.
No, you don't have to take a real.
It's not like a behind the wheel test.
Yeah, but
but
he's from Miami, right? That's not going to convince him, because Miami, they all want to have recertification after age 65, but no one will allow it to vote it down.
You have to renew it every 2 years, right?
Well, but you don't renew it by taking another road test. The only time it's an issue is if a Rav is so misbehaving that other Rabbanim will say his psakim are no longer valid psakim.
Really?
Yeah.
But
They
when
might.
he says that those are the Rabbanim,
Then you're stuck in the middle.
huh?
You're stuck in the middle.
I mean, you kind of have like a situation like that with the science of Gemara, don't you?
What?
I mean, isn't that?
Yeah, all the situations like that. Though, always the Rav who's being put out of commission is going to say they're wrong and I'm right.
Right, but at the same time, if he is a Rav, what prevents him from saying that? But of course, I mean, that's like a pretty good defense. I'm not wrong, they're wrong, I'm putting them in him.
Right,
Yeah.
but so the point is that a person has to try and figure out if this is actually a legitimate halachic issue or this is a,
What was the story of stencils? What's wrong with the Gemara?
He changed the pagination.
What?
What was the problem with the Gemara?
The problem is not so much the Gemara says he himself. I think they don't like his other books
The one with biography and the Rebbein, is that the one?
of Tanakh, figures in Tanakh.
So what? What's the big deal?
So they think that he is not suitable to write Perushim on Gemara. He's not big enough to raise Shamayim. Don't ask me. I'm just telling you what people
Did you
think.
read his works? Did you find his works?
What?
Did you read his works?
No, I didn't read his works.
You never opened the Gemara.
The Gemara I did, but not for many years. Last time I opened Steinsaltz's Gemara was when I was in 10th grade.
And would you find it wrong?
In 10th grade?
Whole stack.
What was I looking for? I don't know. You think I remember what I learned back then?
By the way, he just finished it.
Yeah, so I just want to see him. Okay, so now let's go back to page 3. So now we're going to have, we have two different psakim which represent the two sides of the coin and summarizes very well. And this actually was asked to a based in Yerushalayim. And there was evidently the majority opinion and the minority opinion. So let's see the topic. It's on the bottom, the last line, page 3. Chason shenolad la'ima bas edos hamizrach lelo nisuin. You have a chason whose mother was from Sephardic origin, but was not married to the boy's father. Wasn't married to the boy's father at all. She was born out of wedlock. Udvareh be'eshem maser solimutz aviv shel yeled. And according to her, her story, when she gave the boy over for adoption, right? She gave it over to adoption. So, I'm sorry, I put the punctuation wrong place. And according to what she told us at the time she gave up the kid for adoption, the father was also a Sephardic Jew. So you have an unwed mother who's giving up her kid for adoption, and she tells us the father was also a Sephardi guy. I don't know how kosher he was. He's having relations out of marriage, but okay. Yeah, he was weak. Yes. And the man, that boy, that young man, also said he's the father. But Hayeled, we're on top of page 4. Hayel nimsar limutz, the kid was given over for adoption. L'mishpacha Ashkenazis, to an Ashkenazic family. Miyar immediately after he was born. V'noag kol yamav minhagim Ashkenazim, in his entire life he had Ashkenazic minhagim. V'vakesh l'seis kala me'olei Russia. And now he wants to marry a kala, a Russian immigrant. After he checked out the conscience of the chassan, and the Judaism of the kala, they married each other. And several weeks later, they came to get divorced. So, what?
She was Russian.
It doesn't say.
She didn't want to. She got American.
Okay.
She didn't want to cook anymore.
Now, what was the question? This is in Israel.
Yeah.
Hashe'el diyun. The question for deliberation. Ketzanogim ksiva saksuva v'aget. Well, now it's late for the ksuva. But how do you conduct yourself when the ksuva and the get? L'misha rad molidov, for a person whose biological parents named Sfaradim, Agadal ate Ashkenazim, but who was raised among Ashkenazim, the Noah Kamoim Kol Shanim, and followed their customs his entire life.
He's an Ashkenaz.
What?
He's Ashkenaz.
Okay, so this is the topic here, right? So the Gemara brings down. I'm sorry. The first opinion is out of Rav Avram Dov Levin, whose father actually was Rabbi Levin, the famous tzaddik from Yerushalayim, and he paskins. He baskins that, based on what we saw yesterday, that children only keep their parents' minhag if there's continuity. Otherwise, they're not required to. If they accept it already, even erroneously, evidently, but if they accept it already, not if they never accept it. So, cutting to the chase, the third paragraph, he says, "Ulufi don't didon." In our case. Where the chassan grew up his entire life by Ashkenazic adopted parents. He always followed Ashkenazic minhagim. He is not bound by do not forsake the Torah of your mother. To follow the Sephardic minhagim of his biological parents. Ksuva the get Ashkenazim, and therefore its ksuva and get should be Ashkenazic style.
What difference is ksuva?
I don't know. There are differences, not major ones, but I just read at Ian Nagel's Chasna Sephardic ksuva. There are differences.
Why Sephardic?
What? Because Rabbi Lucas was in Sephardic Kedushin.
Can a Sephardi?
Rabbi Lucas was Sephardi.
Rabbi Doctor, yeah.
Can a Sephardi Baal Teshuvah choose to eat regular black kosher meat?
Yes.
Really? About Shua? Why?
He's not bound by Sephardic minhagim.
So if a person would kept Beit Yosef at home, they knew anything about Beit Yosef, right? They only know kosher, non-kosher.
You're okay. You don't have to keep it Yosef.
I don't have to, even though the Rav of the Shul says Beit Yosef and the rest of the other person.
And he's been doing it for the past 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You can be matzah netter. They should do it during the day.
I don't understand which case a Baal Teshuvah or a bar mitzvah can choose to.
A bar mitzvah can really, it's hard for him to choose. The bar mitzvah case really is talking about somebody who was converted as a child.
And in this case of a rear grandfather who went OTD, and his grandson was thinking about Teshuvah. If the
He doesn't have to keep any of the grandfather's minhagim.
what if the grandfather never left the makom?
Doesn't what?
It says right here. It says despite he's going off the dare, the grandson would be obliged to follow his minhag if the.
But we don't have that nowadays. That's the point. In other words, that would be if your grandfather was Lubavitcher and you joined Lubavitch community. But just because you live around the block from where you live, that doesn't mean anything in our day and age. It doesn't matter. In our day and age, it doesn't matter. Because now geography doesn't define community anymore. Affiliation defines community. No, not even Eretz Yisrael.
Wait, this is Sephardim will learn as well.
He's asking different questions. Okay? Now.
Wait, I have a small question, sorry. In regards to this, if a person is growing up knowing a little bit of his Minhagim, right? So the Minhagim that he knows about, obviously he has to give based on what we said previously. But when he grows up and then he goes and the Rav says, oh, we also have this Minhag that the guy never heard of before, that's then we should listen to the Minhag, is he bound to keep that Minhag as well?
No.
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 So it's only Minhag that his parents ever made him aware of.
It
They were
But, what? Sorry.
But if his community was aware of it and he was living in that community,
Of course.
No, so again, let me rephrase my question again. Let's say I grew up not religious, right? But my parents had certain Minhagim that they knew of and that we kept. Okay. So now that I become religious, obviously I'm still bound by those Minhagim, wherever they are. Now that I'm going to shul and the Rav says, oh, Minhag, Yerushalmi is like this and we call it Minhag Yerushalmi. Right? That's our Minhag. Fine. So yes, probably that's what halakha. Am I bound by that as my Minhag as well?
No.
I'm not bound by it.
No.
Okay, so what did you say yes to what he said before?
What did he say before?
What did you say before? You said something 2 minutes ago. What did you say 2 minutes ago?
what if you're in a Bukhari community
Yeah, what did you say?
and you grew up in a Bukhari community, even if your parents didn't keep stuff, you were still in the community that was keeping certain Minhagim?
No. Only if he goes back to the Bukhari community.
Well, I live in the Bukhari community.
never
I go
left it.
back.
You're not considered right now to have that status of being kavur in the Bukhari community because you're not living on your own, right? So therefore, you still can consider yourself in flux. If you decide to permanently settle down in the Bukhari community, and that's your affiliation, so then you have to keep what they keep.
All the Minhagim.
What?
All the Minhagim.
I don't know all of them, the public minhagim, not the private ones.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay? So now, the next shul from Rabbi Baruch Shrak, I don't know who that is, he brings down, first he brings down the interesting stories about changing nusach hatfilah. And this is interesting, just go through it quickly. B'shayas Teshuvah mishpatei uziel. Actually, I should start from the beginning. They send the message from Eretz Yisrael. Even though we're sending you a version of davening, don't change the minhag of your place. That's Rabbi Ben Zion Chai Uziel, who was the chief rabbi of the state of Israel when it was founded, the Sephardic chief rabbi. Hagon Rebbe Avram Yitzchak Cook, B'yarchon Kol Torah Av Taratzag, wrote, you're not supposed to change from pronunciation to pronunciation. Acher, to another pronunciation. Hareisha Kol Mishane, because anybody who changes, he's like somebody who's reading without proper enunciation. Which is also at least the Chatchila. And besides that, Kol Eda, every community has to sustain its minhag. It's not forsaking the Torah of your mother. Because the Masorah from our forefathers is that which sustains and is the basis of Torah. Ask your father and he will tell you. Now, that was Rav Kook. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Rav Kook was Ashkenazi. Rabbi Uziel was Sephardi. So as being Sephardi, of course, he doesn't like this psak so much. Right? For some reason, the Ashkenazim always say, you keep whatever the Sephardi, and the Sephardim always say, no, come to us. So that's what he says over here. Rabbi Uziel says, since we can't determine this definitively who's right, David Kamarbi, you can do like whoever you want. Kosav, he writes, and Rav Ovadia is Sephardi super. They forgot the great incident. Shalgon Reb Nosson Adler. Nosson Adler, who was the Rebbe, the Chasim Sofer, who lived in Frankfurt. David Uvda ben Avshei, who did a Maisa himself. Kamvur b'Sefer Derech HaNesher, Chelkav Daf Memei, Omnav. He's meaning he invited as a Gon Reb Chaim Modai Izmir, from Izmir El Iro to his town, Vishar Makomo, and the gate of his place of Frankfurt, Umeshach Sholosh Shonim, for 3 years, Lamadet Slow, he learned by him as a Miftah, the pronunciation, Vaigui, and the enunciation, Hasfaradi. And after that he forsook the Ashkenazic pronunciation. And And he himself would daven in, even publicly, in a Sephardic accent. And, of course, Rebbe B'Shut Yaskil Avdi, that's Rav Avadia's Rebbe, Rav Avadia Hadaya. Dafka, the Chelik, Dafka, Base, Pshat Shuvah, so Ribaz. Ribaz is interesting because Ribaz was Ashkenazi. I don't know what he says exactly there. Shamivta Svardi, who Masuka mi Mivta Ashkenazi, that Sephardic pronunciation is more correct than Ashkenazi pronunciation. So that's why the Sephardim hold, come over to us. Okay? Because they're more correct. That's what they say. Now, he says that he brings down the Zichron Yosef, which says that a child only has to keep his father's minhagim if he already began to keep them. But he says in the next paragraph, only all this has to do with matters of piety or stringencies. But in the universal minhagim, there is this concept of titosh Torah simecha, ve'ein lishanos, and we shouldn't change. And therefore, then he brings down the Rabbi Betzin Abba Shol, and coming to the last paragraph, v'nira the kosh came b'horim mamtzim. If Rabbi Betzin Abba Shol said by a Rebbe, they don't follow the Rebbe over the father. Kal v'chomer by adoptive parents. Tafilu Rabbu Shalim no Torah shemavilu chay olam haba, because even his Rebbe who taught him Torah brings him to the world to come. V'avedas Rabbo and the loss of his Rebbe. We know Kodemis Avedas Aviv takes precedence over the loss of his father. Afilu Hachi nevertheless loinag b'minhag Rabbosa, he shouldn't follow Rabbeim. The Koshkein Horava Mamtzim, and certainly in the case of the adoptive parents, Sheminhag Avosava biologim heim hakovim, that the biological parents determine his minhagim. Ulefrat Levi, and here it is. Fimach, this Rabbi Shrago must be the Sfaradi. Fimach Kosav Rabbeinu Ari ben Usachat Tfilah. The Ari writes, Sheyesh Yud Beis Sharim Bashamayim Keneged Beis Shvatim. V'chol Shevet Yesh Lo Shar Minhag. Everybody has a gate and a minhag. L'chen ha-minhagim shenagu b'shoshei tefillah ein l'shos minhagim kamo. You shouldn't change from your minhag to keep your gate. V'evio chida b'kesher godel tzid beizot be'oz tes. Upashut shashevet. He's going with the clothing of a tribe here. Goes by his biological parents. And not according to those who adopted him. And what the Arizal converted from Ashkenaz to Sfard, not the 13th gate. He says it goes through all 12 gates. It's a different version. So it goes through all 12 gates. But in all other minhagim, each community should keep its own minhagim. So he argues. Rabbi Shraga holds that you go by the biological parents. Rabbi Avram Dov Levine holds you go by the adoptive parents. But all this is not necessarily relevant to Baalei Teshuvah. And one can make the argument that Baalei Teshuvah, even Rabbi Shraga would agree. Because in the case of the kid who was adopted, he was adopted from parents who were Shomer Torah mitzvahs, who just messed up on something, and adopted by Shomer Torah mitzvahs. So there was no time when he was OTD. So therefore the chain did not interrupt. So Rabbi Shraga says, if the chain didn't interrupt, then we go back to biological parents. But if the chain is interrupted by somebody going OTD, so then perhaps even Rabbi Shraga would concede that you go by the adoptive parents and not by the birth parents. L'maisa, as we've seen, the overwhelming preponderance of opinion is that a Baal Teshuvah has the right to choose whatever minhagim he wants. The only exception to that is where he affiliates with a community which has very strong minhagim. At least in matters which are public minhagim, he has to conduct himself according to that community.
Or if he's harming.
I just said no.
No?
I said you don't have to keep Bet Yosef Glat.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but if you know the minhagim of your ancestors do have to keep.
No.
What no?
Only can Rabbi Ben Zion Abba Shol.
Who's the Sephardi rabbi?
They only established before yesterday when we were reading that if you know, no,
Not if the chain is broken.
the chain's not broken. That's what I'm saying.
They were traditional.
Oh, you mean because the Bukhar? I'm sorry, like you said. Right, I'm sorry. Forgot what you meant. Okay, so in other words, where there's still Bukhar and Minhagim which carry over, even though people are not Orthodox. Right? Yes, that's correct.
So, what's the operandi for this?
What?
Like, how do you go about picking it? How long do you have to switch or change or decide you didn't like that one? Or
After you become aware that you have the right to change, you should first be matir neder on what you accepted without knowledge you were able to change. And then there's no specific time frame, but I would say that within a few days you really have to make up your mind.
that fast?
Preferably before the next issue arises of that sort.
What about this is the thing that if somebody picks oh cool as he's a brush or something or so known there's a pick out something?
No, that's if you pick and choose between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel.
Yeah.
But that's because Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel were talking about mamish halacha,
Yeah.
not minhag.
Uh-huh.
Isser and heter. So you picked to be matir everything Beis Shammai was matir, and also be matir everything Beis Hillel was matir.
Also,
That you can't do. But if it's talking about things which are minhagim in any event, not strict halacha, then you can do that.
I feel like a lot of Sephardi and Ashkenazi Minhagim end up playing out in their halacha also.
Okay, so now it might be an issue. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but it's possible.
But the meat is not halal.
What?
But Yosef but not be Yosef.
Yeah, so I'm going to get in that tomorrow night. How we define a minhag, how we define halacha, okay? I wrote an article on this once, and we'll talk about the article tomorrow night.